This is a fourth stimulus check, stimulus program, and news update. Hope you're having a lovely Sunday so far. Let's get straight to the news. If you appreciate these straight to the point updates, hit the like button down below. So the Wuhan lab was to get $1.5 million in federal grant money for that study, according to Dr. Fauci's emails, which have now been made public. Now, this money was supposed to go to the Wuhan Institute of Virology, which is exactly where all the stuff went down. All signs are pointing to this one lab of where the COVID virus was leaked from a lab and spread all over the world. So the lab actually got $600,000 in federal grant money over a 5-year span before this extra money was about to come. And this wasn't directly from the US government. It went to one organization and another organization and slowly filtered its way to the Wuhan Institute of Virology, and they were supposed to get another $700,000, which I think is pretty suspicious. Former President Trump says, "I was right about Wuhan lab leak," and demands $10 trillion penalty from China. So this still isn't definitive evidence yet. This is from Dr. Fauci's emails, which have made public. It's not enough to nail China down yet. It's very close, but it's not enough. So former President Trump says, "Now everyone, even the so-called enemy, is beginning to say that President Trump was right about the China virus coming from Wuhan lab. The correspondence between Dr. Fauci and China speaks too loudly for anyone to ignore. China should pay $10 trillion to America and the world for the death and destruction they have caused." So, like I said, regardless of what you believe, this still is not enough evidence. China most likely made important people disappear, their families disappear, all evidence completely scrubbed, especially with $10 trillion on the line. They made $10 trillion decisions. But let me know, is $10 trillion enough to America and the world for reparations for what happened? If the lab leak theory proves to be true, let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. Next, let's really quickly go over infrastructure. So the White House gives GOP a June 7th deadline for infrastructure deal, which is tomorrow. We've been hearing about this infrastructure negotiation now for months, and President Biden has met with Senator Shelley Moore Capito several times, and they keep delaying it. And tomorrow, Monday, is maybe the last meeting, not sure. Probably going to be delayed again. But so far, this past Friday, the White House rejects the GOP infrastructure counteroffer, saying it does not meet Biden's objectives. So far, they're going back and forth. They are a few $100 billion apart, which is pretty close. But my guess, my prediction is that 80% most likely going towards the reconciliation process. I think there's a 20% chance that they could come up with a bipartisan solution. Let me know your thoughts on that. And Biden faces challenges with the Democrats on infrastructure package. So Biden is kind of in the middle. He's trying to work with the Republicans. It's not good enough for Republicans. What he's doing is not good enough for Democrats. Democrats want to go through reconciliation. Here's Bernie Sanders talking more about that.
You had Mitch McConnell right on your screen.
100% of my focus is on stopping this new administration.
McConnell attempted to do everything he could to obstruct the Obama agenda, and he has made it very clear. Let's give the guy credit. He's out there. He's going to do everything he can to obstruct Joe Biden's agenda. So our only alternative now is to use reconciliation as we did for the American Rescue Plan, which was so important to the American people, getting direct payments, cutting childhood poverty in half, extending unemployment, and was a very popular program. We did that with 50 votes plus the vice president, and it appears to me that's exactly what we're going to have to do again if we're going to be successful in creating the millions of good-paying jobs that we desperately need, dealing with the dysfunctional childcare and pre-K system, dealing with healthcare, dealing with higher education. If we're going to stand up for working families, what we need to do is use reconciliation. And of course, we need to get rid of the filibuster.
Hopefully we find out if there's a deal or no deal with the infrastructure package so we could finally move on to more exciting things like stimulus checks, social security increase, home buyers credit, child tax credit. So speaking of which, let's talk about the stimulus checks. So Overseas Bank helped recover IRS stimulus checks to non-Americans. It didn't go well. So basically, I've mentioned this before, millions of dollars in stimulus checks have gone to many people in foreign countries who are not even U.S. citizens. For example, the Bank of Guam has seized $400,000 in IRS stimulus checks that were to non-citizens. So IRS is just sending random money all over the world with stimulus checks when people in the US still haven't even received their stimulus checks yet. But let's talk about the fourth stimulus check. 2 new stimulus checks may be on the way. Here's everything you need to know. So this is referring to a letter that was written to the president, which was from 28 lawmakers who want to make stimulus checks recurring in Biden's infrastructure plan. They're calling for at least a 4th and 5th stimulus check, saying that could help out at least 12 million people out of poverty. But some are saying they want it to continue for the entire year. Now, what does the White House say about this in terms of stimulus checks? The White House says that Biden is going to leave the door open on a 4th payment, meaning that he's not for it. He's not saying he's for it. He's not saying he's against it, but it's up to Congress, which is true. So a lot of these letters written to President Biden doesn't really matter. It's up to Congress to actually take action with legislation and pass a 4th stimulus check, pass increase in Social Security. It's not up to President Biden. He doesn't have that power. President Biden just signs it at the end. So it's really up to Congress, and Congress was just off on vacation this past week. So hopefully Congress will finally get something done. Now, in regards to what will the stimulus check amount be, the most popular amount now is $2,000 monthly checks. This one is introduced by Senator Ed Markey, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris before she was vice president. So the $2,000 per month seems to be the most popular amount. It might just be a one-time check payment. In terms of support for the $2,000 per month, the petition for the $2,000 per month is at 2,321,000 signatures so far. So there is still a lot of public support. We're just waiting on Congress to do something and for the infrastructure package to either pass through a bipartisan way or through reconciliation. Once this infrastructure is out of the way, we could finally start talking more about what's happening with the other stimulus programs. So hopefully tomorrow is the day that we figure out whether there's a deal or no deal with infrastructure. Moving on to unemployment. So the IRS is sending more than 2.8 million refunds to those who already pay taxes on the 2020 unemployment compensation. So this is that $10,200 unemployment compensation. Basically, the IRS says that 2.8 million checks are going to start to go out this week. They said this also May 14th, which was almost a month ago. So we'll see what happens. Let me know down in the comments below, have you received a $10,200 tax refund yet if you were expecting it? They said there's around 13 million taxpayers who are eligible for the adjustment. And to date, IRS has reviewed 3.1 million returns with more than 2.8 million receiving the funds. The next batch is gonna go out in mid-June. So hopefully people get these checks, these refunds, and the IRS also said that within 30 days there's going to be a letter sent to you talking about the different adjustments and how much you're owed. So hopefully, I really hope that comes. And in terms of the $300 unemployment, it looks like President Biden is okay with letting the $300 unemployment expire September 6th, which is when it's set to expire. So for the past year, it's constantly been extended, where it's been extended for another 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, and it looks like it might finally end. President Biden hasn't mentioned anything about extending it again in the next package coming up. Also, it looks like the eviction moratorium might end at the end of June as well, with no plans to extend that. So I'll keep you updated on both those things. Now, in terms of the unemployment bonuses or the back to work bonuses coming from the 25 states that have canceled the unemployment benefits before the September 6th expiration, earliest is going to be June 12th in several different states. So basically, North Carolina wants to give $1,500 sign-up bonus. New York said that they could try to do a $1,200 back-to-work bonus. And then Massachusetts is going to do a $1,200 back-to-work bonus. Then we have Montana, which is going to give a $1,200 back to work bonus. We have New Hampshire and Oklahoma. New Hampshire is going to give $1,000 and Oklahoma is going to give a $1,200. Then we have Arizona with the biggest amount of $2,000 for full-time workers, $1,000 for part-time workers. Then we have Connecticut with a $1,000 payment and Colorado with a $1,600 payment. So those are all the back to work bonuses so far. Not all 25 states are going to give the back to work bonus, just a handful of them. If any more of those come out, I'll definitely let you know. Next, I'm going to answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Michaela Byron asks, wait, if they use their last reconciliation on the infrastructure plan, wouldn't that mean they can't use it on the next stimulus aid? Yes, that is true, but most likely what the plan is once they figure out if they're going to move forward with reconciliation, Democrats are going to combine the infrastructure plan as well as the American Families Plan, American Jobs Plan, all of those packages, plus a little extra on top of whatever other proposals that they were thinking of, because they know that it's not going to get any Republican opposition, except for two Democrats, two moderate Democrats, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. Those are the two obstacles. But to answer your question, they're going to make this last reconciliation count and add in that stimulus aid. Next question comes from Bobby Mefford. What about helping the elderly? I guess just like everything else, we get left behind. A 6 or 7-year-old can get some kind of help, but a person that is 60 or 70 years old, we get no help. Doesn't seem fair at all. I agree with you. I feel like there's been a big gap between the people who are getting stimulus aid and the people who are not. People who are part of the elder community, retirees, SSDI, I feel like they definitely got left out to dry. They're not getting any help, not as much help as they should be. Hopefully, if the reconciliation process is approved and they're going to go through reconciliation, the Social Security increase proposal could be added into that as well. We don't know if that's going to be the case, but hopefully they'll figure out that 60, 7-year-olds, older, those groups of people without kids, people without families, they could get benefits from the stimulus aid as well, because they're hurting as well. I totally agree with you on that. That is all the stimulus news I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Oh, sorry guys, I didn't see this. Can I tell you something? What I want to do is go to the moon. I need to go to the moon. Never mind. What do you want? Tell me in the comments below and see what you want. If you want to do something, then accomplish it. Do what you want, because that after you get too old to not do what you want. Oh, bye. The moon, bye.
And I wanted to mention one really good deal. If you have a good credit score, you could get up to $1,000 in basically free money. So there's the Chase Sapphire Preferred card, which is an amazing card. You get 100,000 points, which could equal, if you exchange 1 cent per point, that's $1,000 for signing up for the card. If you spend $4,000 in 3 months, then they give you that 100,000 points and you can convert that into instant cash. So that's what I used to talk about on this channel. I'm still very passionate about it, but this is one of those once in a year type of deals I just had to mention. I'll leave a link to that down in the description below if you're curious about that. You do need a credit score of around 680, 690, 700 or above, which I know is hard to come by, but if you qualify for that, or if you know anyone, it's a really good deal. You could get $1,000 just in free money, or you could use that to travel and probably get up to $2,000 in value from that, just in hotels and stuff. So anyways, I'll have a link to that. And if you want to check out any of my other videos, I recommend clicking this video up here or this one down over here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.